Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this sixth day of November with the Mad New Yorker backstage here. We'll talk about all the day's this week's biggest games here in the NFL, college fire in there, and of course, we'll recap last week and whatnot. We got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. Got the Mad New Yorker backstage. Stand by. We'll take our first and only break, and we'll hit the ground running here shortly on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty then, I'm back here live with the Mad New Yorker. Hey, Carlos, how you doing?
How's everything?
It's good. It's good. Hey, I wanted to start off on a somber note here with this Dallas Cowboys defensive end, Marshawn Kneeland, second-year player. He's a second-round pick, also a second-year player, 24. Tragic last night, committed suicide. And, my take on this is more people are afraid of the stigma of getting mental health than actually looking down on people that are seeking mental health. It's more of that fear. And I wanted to say this also. Jim Jeffco, who I've had on the program, former Dallas Cowboy, put on his Facebook page that everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind always. And, I hate to start off like that, but it's hard to go through a show when that's been all over the news. Young man, we had the news about, oh God, what was his name? The former running back there from Tampa, Doug Martin, had some mental health issues as well. I've heard it in the past. I was a player for Kansas City about 15 years ago. It's a real thing, and I looked this up. The NFL has all kinds of programs for this. They have NFL Lifeline, on-site crisis. This stuff is provided by the NFL, NFLPA, and just people in general. Listen, folks, there is a text line for this too, for non-football players. I was looking at my research in the program. You can call or text 988 now, or go online at 98lifeline.org. 988, just 3 digits. 911, you got 988. That's my thoughts on that. Thoughts and prayers with this young man's family. What's your thoughts on that, man?
That was a lot to unravel. To hear about someone that's younger, even younger than us, right?
Half our age, yeah.
All the potential in the world to become a star athlete. He had a couple injuries, was recovering from that to start this season and on a note make the team for the Cowboys. Um, you know, Matt Rule, he spoke
He did
about
put
it.
a great post out, didn't he?
He
Yeah, the
did.
Nebraska head coach, folks.
Yeah, he's formerly from Baylor University and has family in Texas and was also affected by this because he had went through the situation. It's on his post. If you get an opportunity to read it, it's a good.
Yeah,
It's a quick read. It's a good read. Most importantly, man, we even us like because we consider the media, we got to be careful on how we say things, how we put things
yeah,
out, and um, you know, Jim Jeffco's correct. We got to be kind. We got to be kinder. We're
Yeah.
all at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we all have our troubles. And this is my condolences to this young man's family, to Dallas Cowboys, the teammates, to the NFL, suffering through these situations with former players, and it's under investigation exactly what has happened to him still. So people need not to jump to conclusions. Um, what is out there is that he was involved in a car chase, and
Yeah.
then that got stopped. Then they found his car, and then they found him, and um, you
And that was
know,
after a welfare check. So he's had something heavy he was dealing with that
yeah, and
car
this,
chase.
yeah, he had his
Before the car
cousin,
chase, it wasn't like he was out doing crimes or nothing. But
right,
we
right, and
don't know that yet.
his cousin had put something out too as well that he was a family man. Like, look, we all have our troubles. We all, the most important part is that if you need help, call somebody you know, or if you know people that are struggling, give them a call. And we should be a better community to each other. We should be kinder to our friends, and we should enjoy everybody for in the moment,
Yeah.
for when they're here. And
Yeah.
so,
Sorry about that. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Well said, dude. Yeah, well said. And thoughts and prayers with this young man's family. We got to switch to a lighter, much, much lighter note. And I hate to do that, but there's no other way to transition. The Jets, man, I tell you what, your Jets team, then they can screw this up. They can screw this up. Don't get me wrong with trading Quentin Williams and of course Sauce Gardner. But like I said the other day, my daddy got a funny saying. Somebody like Woody Johnson, who owns the Jets, he could screw up a free meal. But I'll tell you what, man, 7 picks in the top 64 over the next 2 years, you can build a real foundation like that. If you recall, a similar situation when the Lions traded Matt Stafford and got those picks. Not this many, though. Not this many. What's your thoughts about those trades right there, man?
I mean, trick or treat just happened, and I feel like this is something that's gonna maybe flip flop on the Jets. They got a good GM. I'm not gonna be pessimistic. I feel like the GM took it the opportunity, saw what was going on, is trying to lay a foundation. But now, like you said, is he gonna screw up this free meal? The problem is this: um, who do you want your quarterback to be?
Yeah.
Right. And even if it's just Justin Fields for one more year, you're holding off for Manning or maybe even a Joe Burrow type of situation.
Yeah.
Um,
At 27 draft, which I think he'll come out in 27. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I feel like instead of trying to put yourself in a situation where you're like at the top of the draft to get that quarterback, they did a really they had done something in the past. It kind of didn't work out their way because they went and started getting older players, and it kind of got them to the playoffs, and then they missed by a field goal back in 2000, in the early 2000s. They got the Shaw, they got Mangold, uh, and then they got Curtis Martin. He was already peaking, but he still did well for them. Um, they had a lot of guys on that team. They had that center from the Titans. Remember,
Yeah. I can't
um,
remember his name.
Kevin Mawawi.
Kevin Mawai. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so the Jets did that whole building up the team, and they had a good mix of older players and younger players. And they got Mark Sanchez, who ended up playing uh over his like potential in the first two
Over his,
years.
yeah, because the team was so good around him.
Right. So and so they could possibly do that again but again, they need to not focus on trying to hit on the quarterback. They need to just build, get your guys on your defensive team, Do you want to make the guy leading the role? Do you want him to be a linebacker leading the defense? Do you want him to be a defensive tackling? Like, you got to build these guys, but they can't be. This is where the age discrepancy comes, right? And this is what I think about. I think it's like once you start going over 28, 29 years old on players,
Yeah.
you're end up putting yourself in a predicament, because those are the guys, even though they're the ones that have the most um, experience, they end up being the ones that getting injured, right? Remember Anthony Thomas, the fullback, got injured, and then Curtis Martin didn't have nobody to block for him in a couple of games. Then some of the old linemen, believe it was Jumbo Elliott or somebody like that. Somebody like that. I can't remember that old line too much, but they got somebody got injured on the old line. So then, and then the defensive back got in. So it was like it just kept like they were good, but they were just a little bit too old because the injuries kept coming in,
Yeah.
and so but they they made it to the playoffs, and everybody thought that was going to be a Super Bowl run. But remember, and before that, they even tried to get a quarterback in Brett Favre, right? This is the year
Yeah.
this is the year after Brett Favre was there. So
Yeah. Pennington kept getting hurt. They
Yeah.
had something going with Pennington for a little bit, but he kept getting injured. They got to the playoffs and blew out
yeah,
the Colts
so
one year.
so
But
that whole
yeah.
they could do something similar. The problem is don't this is my thing. Don't try to do the same thing, but just try to build something. But don't just try to focus on one, like on one position. I feel like if they could just build out a defense and an offensive line, and just slide in a better, I mean, they could still sign Brees Hall as a running back. Um, keep retain him now that they got a little bit more money. But I don't know. It's just up in the air, man. Like it just all depends on what this guy's gonna do, And if he starts getting older players because they have stability and these are guys that are already peaked, and they're more likely to cost you more in the long run. So
I think they have a young offensive line already intact, and if they can get that quarterback right, I mean, I would really, really take my time with that. If this guy from Indiana's that player, and listen, I'd go out and get an offensive minded head coach, uh, and just do away with Glenn after 1 year. They
oh
might not like that, but somebody, I would take my time with it and get that right coach and try to mesh him with a young quarterback there, whether it be Ty Simpson. But although, Ty Simpson should also stay another year. He's only played 1 year in Alabama.
yeah,
You know how those 1 year starters start out in the NFL? It doesn't bode well. One of those players, I want to say, was Mark Sanchez.
yeah. I mean, listen, I don't think that they should get rid of the coach. Like, I think they have something special with him. They got rid of a coach one time, and right now he's killing it in Tampa Bay. And he was defensive minded. Um, I feel like
Yeah, yeah, Bowles, yeah.
yeah, I feel like they just should just hunker down and try to. They need to build something, and they need to have a foundation to build off of. And if they start firing too many people, moving too many pieces, then you just keep doing the same thing. So I think that coach is good. I just don't think he has, like, I don't think the players are ready to be where he's at. Like, I don't think they have enough depth to for him to have a defense like he wants. So there's going to be a project. It's going to take some patience, and it's tough to say because I always say New York isn't a place for that. Everybody wants to see a winner right away. That's why you
Well,
pay all
maybe
that
that's
money,
why they haven't been successful either.
right? But
They're both of them in a dumpster there trying to force stuff together.
yeah, because the problem is that this is a city that never sleeps, man. This is a capital, the media of the world. This is where the stock market gets exchanged, man.
Yeah.
This is where an NFL ticket costs an average of $350 to sit and not be able to see the players. You close to the concession stand, but you're nowhere near the field. Like, so that's the problem. So you got to get some wins,
Yeah.
man.
All
What I'm
right.
saying?
Well, got to move on from that. I know you love talking about the Jets, man. We'll see what happens. That could be a whole show just talking about those picks. I tell you what, I really like the fact that Williams actually went to the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys have a heavy heart right now with
Right.
this tragedy. This could go one or two ways for Dallas. They bonds the team together, or it lingers on them, and they go down the hill. But a guy like Williams, I tell you what, man, he can. You'll notice the difference. He said, "Man, I'm glad they got rid of me. They wasn't doing anything." Dallas was number 3 in total offense this year, and for a lot of the year, they were number 1 in total. They just couldn't stop a nosebleed. But a lot of this starts over the tip of the ball, man. And Williams was a 3-time Pro Bowler last year, being his last Pro Bowl. So
Right.
he's still playing at a very, very high level and playing off some other players there. I like that pickup. I don't care what the fact that they gave up a first and second round. Listen, Titans gave up a first and third for A.J. Brown or shipped off A.J. Brown to the Eagles. Brown goes on and has a successful 2 or 3 years there, and Tennessee's players are no longer on the roster. So that can work both ways. That can work. The fact that Jerry Jones is 83, he's not getting any younger, and neither is Dak Prescott. I'm okay with that from the Dallas standpoint. What's your thoughts on that from the Dallas standpoint?
I think for sure. I think they need a couple more players. But they did well getting those a defensive player, and then they got the
Yeah, Logan Wilson, I think
from the
Cincinnati,
Bengals.
also linebacker.
Yeah, so that's good. They loaded up where they needed the most help, man. Like their offense just wasn't allowed. It was as much as they were scoring too fast. They're moving the ball too fast, and it's not giving the defense enough rest. And this gives an opportunity for the defense to be deeper and allow allow their offense also more opportunities because these guys they're really big at the in the, right after the 40-30 yard line. They're really big and play big in those opportunities right when they're closer to the goal. So I like that for Dallas. So
Yeah.
their special teams kind of now should be able to play better as well, right? The field goal kicker doesn't need to be going out there and kicking 55 yards. He can just kick 30 yarders now if the defense acts
That's
up
true.
and does what they're supposed to do. So
Play field position. Man, we got another fire, and since the last time I talked to you, Hugh Freeze from Auburn fired. It looks like that maybe if you got a guy like a Hugh Freeze or whatnot, I made this analogy the other day. People wanted Jim Harbaugh fired at Michigan for a little while because he couldn't get that quarterback position right at Michigan. He was winning games, but he wasn't beating Ohio State. And sometimes he was losing to Michigan State. I think he lost to Notre Dame one time. And once he got McCarthy, they started winning some games. Just that position squared away. Kind of get a sense that was an issue with Auburn. Although, Hugh Freeze did not look like Hugh Freeze at Ole Miss there. I may have gave him another year or so just to try, or at least try to get another quarterback, because it's so hard with all this talent spread out so thin. What's your thoughts about that aspect of it, the fact that he's been fired also?
Yeah, I think the SEC didn't help him by bringing in two more teams, right?
Yeah, that's tough.
How do you recruit?
The way it is. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, how do you recruit and try to try to get these when you're going against 2 more players, you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing is like like they have to figure that out, man. They gotta that's the SEC doing that's the beauty of the SEC right there, man. That's what happened there. I think and then on top of that, even if the SEC is like the NIL money, they stretching it too thin if and they can't pick up more players, so that's Auburn there. So I don't think their alumni base is as strong as a Texas A&M or as strong as even a UT Knox, so
yeah,
I feel like they're just grabbing at anything right now, and the first thing they can think of is just fire the coach and start from now. I mean, maybe they pick up this guy from LSU and hope to get more
Brian
prospects
Kelly?
in. Yeah, I said that sounds like a
He
sideways
couldn't
move.
get another washout coach there. I mean, they might get Jimbo Fisher. I mean, I think these guys can still coach. I may have even gave Kelly another year, but it's just I don't know, man.
The
I
the
just
problem.
seem to get a sense if you can't get that quarterback, that's just one. Now, of course, Kelly did have it. It seemed like they were a little bit soft on his end, but I don't know, man. It just seems that was the case in Auburn. They just
Yeah, I
couldn't
mean,
get that because they blew a lot of late games, where they couldn't score late when they
but who? I mean, that's
against
Alabama.
good
Alabama.
teams like Georgia, and Oklahoma last year had them on the ropes, had them beat to right. So
Actually, but I don't feel like that's coaching. I feel like that's more of a depth thing. Like you can't. And when you get
well, the
injuries, like
quarterback's not making plays, is what I'm saying.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but look how
And
many.
sometimes the quarterback's just not good enough. He's just not.
How
Like I said, Jim Harbaugh had a bunch of ragtag quarterbacks at first at Michigan, and man, they were. I thought, wow, did he forget how to coach? What's up, man? He's lost his fastball.
so you believe J.J. McCarthy was his saving
As a
grace?
college quarterback, he fit a lot better with what Jim was trying to do than the other players.
All Jim was trying to do was run the ball.
And
he
plus,
bet,
they got the ball, they got that part squared away too. But you still got to make some key third down throws sometimes in big games, and he did.
so
Not to say he's a great player, but he got drafted for a reason, pretty high,
all
first
right.
round pick.
So for instance, let's just look at the top 5 teams and in a AP for or even in the playoff rankings, the top 5 teams. Ohio State, they got a quarterback.
Well, when you have a loaded defense, he's the only team that's had a loaded defense. And people are
Indiana,
talking about he may win the Heisman. So
right?
yeah, they got a quarterback,
Indiana got a quarterback.
potential number one overall pick.
Texas
You
A&M
know,
got a quarterback.
well, I tell you what, he don't make a lot of mistakes, and they got a great defense, and he's a
Ala-
mobile threat. You know,
Alabama got a quarterback.
Alabama has a potential first round quarterback, and so does Oregon. You
Geo-
know,
Georgia got a quarterback.
Georgia does not. You
You don't like
know,
him?
no, Georgia does not have a quarterback. I mean, he's not going to get drafted high.
Yeah, he won't get
Georgia's a
drafted.
rare team that has a little bit extra depth than everybody else.
Right. Ole Miss.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look at what they did last year. I mean, the quarterback is he's playing pretty well in the NFL.
So look,
So,
look for
and a
instance,
lot
like
of times the quarterback just plays well in college.
right,
You
right,
know,
right. But it's a system. It's a system. Like, how about this? How
Ole
about
Miss's quarterback had 5 straight touchdowns on 5 possessions, against Georgia. And the 6th one, they didn't do it. And, Georgia came back and beat them.
I
So,
don't.
yeah, they got a quarterback.
But this Hugh Freeze guy wasn't he that at Coastal Carolina at one point?
I can't remember.
Wasn't he
They
the
just didn't
coach?
get the right transfer, man.
Wasn't he the coach that coached this guy from that plays that for Green Bay now that the Titans had?
Yeah, I think so. But my thing is, the point is, a quarterback that can play a good college system, they don't necessarily have to be number one overall pick.
No,
But
but
but if you got just a joker for a quarterback that's not making, look at Vanderbilt, man. He's not going to make it in the NFL, but he's perfect for Vanderbilt. Javi is 5'10", but man, he's great. For that college, Tebow. I mean, he's not, but he was perfect for that college system. And it's hard to overstack the roster, is my point now.
yeah, I mean,
So,
my thing for him is like yeah, he coached what's his name at Liberty. He coached the former quarterback from
yeah.
Tennessee, from the
Oh,
Titans,
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis. Yeah, so
But he's a
he
good
coached.
college quarterback,
He was a. I feel like
Tennessee took him in like the 3rd round.
I feel like this is more of an idea that some of these athletic departments and their athletic directors, their ADs, think that because we're in the SEC, we can do what schools like Texas do now, and that Oklahoma do, and that UT does, and that Alabama does. And like that's not how it happens, man. Like even Vanderbilt this year, they got very lucky. They got they're riding high, and they got depth. They got guys that are believing in the system, but that don't mean that next year they're gonna be winning a championship, and the year after that, there's been a couple years with Kentucky gotten was like have won 8, 9 games, and there's been years where Arkansas has won like 8 or 9 games. So this is a strong, uh, and I'm talking about like in the past 10 years. This is a strong football conference, and now that you have NIL, now that you have all these alumni, you're hearing all these coaches getting fired. Some of them with like good backgrounds, some of them with terrible backgrounds that they shouldn't hired in the beginning. But like now like Keith mentioned something like he was keeping tabs on over $100 some million getting paid out of coaches who are not coaching right now since they started firing coaches in 2025. 100 mil.
Yeah, there should probably be a little bit more patience there. That was
Come
my whole point.
on, man. Like,
Yeah.
and then these kids don't at the end, if they're doing the whole, play 1 year and then trying to get drafted, they're not gonna care about a coach coming in and telling them that they're gonna be the future of a college team and they're gonna win championships. They want to hear all that jazz. They're like, okay, how many commercials can I make? Can I make me some 13, $20 million before I play in the NFL? That's all they care about. So,
Well, yeah.
how these
Well, maybe
coaches
not
gonna help
that much,
that?
but yeah, I get your point, man. Heupel and Tennessee lose to Oklahoma, and my thing with Heupel is it's really the other way. He's really good with the quarterback, but there's something with him, and I put that as a question to ask this guy in some kind of press conference. All right, you seem to not have the defensive personnel that it takes to win championships, whether a tackle, a defensive tackle, linebacker. What do we have to do to get you those resources? Okay, or the better question is, and I'm not asking from Tennessee, is there a problem getting those players through transfer portal or recruiting? Why haven't you got a 5-star defensive tackle who can play? Why do you give up late leads in games, 14, 17-point leads like they did against Arkansas? This goes back for years with him, And I got a lot of pushback saying he's a lot like Lincoln Riley light, although they've had a little bit of defensive success last year. But it just seems to be the same thing with the fast-paced offense. You wear your own defense down. And then on top of that, you simply don't have the personnel to beat the guys that you're trying to beat, which is, Georgia's of the world, from that side of the ball. Why are you lacking that? Is there something that needs to be done as far as money concerned? That's what I would ask him in a press conference.
Yeah, but
it's a glaring weakness on them.
Are you
the
on the
quarterback
side
has to play perfect for them to win anything?
Yeah, but are you on the side that you would fire this guy right now? Would you fire him?
I'm on the side. No, why hasn't he addressed those issues? No, I would have keep Heupel.
All right. No,
I just don't want to rest on the laurels. One guy said online the other day, he said, I get a sense that Heupel may be the Penn State's James Franklin, where people put their finger in your face and say, well, if you win 9, 10 games because you were crappy for 18 years, you should be proud of that and not call out Heupel for his mistakes. And I said, no. You're supposed to call out Heupel for his mistakes. He's in charge of everything when it comes to bringing in players, whether they have a general manager or not in the college game.
Yeah, and I think on that point, excuse me.
Yeah, I've been battling the cold too.
No, I got
the weather.
Yeah, I know. I just get some allergies. So my thing is this: I think he's stuck in a rock and a hard place at UT in the sense where there's a lot of people around him that have more pull than he has. So, and I'm sure those people think they know better than him or they can do it better than him or whatever it is. But look, the reality is that you can't just be signing kids, the best players, the best kids from Tennessee, because Tennessee don't have a good high school programs. They don't have the programs like they out in California or in Florida or in Texas or
No.
even in Georgia. Like, so these guys need to get these. They need to be more at Louisiana, at Texas, to get these big old guys. They need to get dogs. They need to get.
Well, they have the highest recruiting budget in America.
Yeah, I know, but
You
they've
know,
had
so
recruit.
they
But
have
look,
I have the airplane to go down there and get them. How
yeah,
come they
but
can't get them up here? You know?
yeah, no, and the thing is, I'm not what I'm gonna say this is like in the last 10, even look, we go 15, 20 years, you had Dooley, you had Butch, you had like all these guys promising
Well, they've
things,
had a lot of clowns there.
you know, and
You
and
know?
and this is this one guy who's not just he didn't promise anything, he's bringing a bigger and better class of type of football that has got these kids in bowl games, and we need we have to. I don't think the focus should be on his coaching, man. I think the focus is now getting the team to be better balanced. The whole quarterback thing fell apart for him. NIL, it actually helped them this year getting rid of that quarterback and getting this guy from UCLA. He's actually playing better
Oh,
than
Aguilar was a trade up.
yeah. So, but again,
And a lot
uh,
of it is I do think that he runs such a fast paced offense that he wears his own defensive guys down. And I think he's got to find some point in the game to slow it down so that, and I know they do it, but I think they still have to work on that. So you can let that defense rest and play better. Because I mean they're
yeah,
giving up, I just assume if they're not playing nobody like a Kentucky on the road, they're gonna lose.
yeah,
Because the offense has to play almost perfect to win because they give up these leads. It's going back 3 or 4 years now.
yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, it might take another 3 or 5 years to get that ignite. The problem is once he starts getting a flow of players that are helping him, they're 1 year, 2 years, and boom, they go to the draft. So, um, and I think maybe the situation is not what are you doing, it's how are you doing with these newer guys, because you got to get the younger guys in and you got to play them. You can't just be like red shirt, red shirt, red shirt. No, you got a 5-star athlete that's a freshman. You don't have to start him, bro, because you don't know this guy might not be here next season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's more of a personnel situation, and they're direct, with the ads over there, and they need to. I think they need less voices, and they need to just focus on what he's doing and build that and strengthen what he's been building. I think they're like that's what's going on in Tennessee. Because from what I've listened to and what I've heard, you got consultants, you got like consultant for the defense, you got consultants for the offense, you got consultant for the special team. Like, bro, like you don't need that many consultants. Like, you get these players playing and get them on the field. That's it. Like, cut. You got to start cutting some of that noise out and getting these players on the field and let them play to the potential. Like, at the end of the day.
Yeah, I know, man. I hear you. So let's go with we'll get with the NFL now. Atlanta, New England. I thought Atlanta would come back and play well, and they did. Lost by 1 point because they missed an extra point. What's your thoughts about that game? New England, they're like 6-0 now.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of Derek May. I think he's still too green. I don't think he's the future, but he's got the stats. He's putting up stats like a Dan Marino
Oh
type
yeah,
stats.
great completion percentage
Yeah,
and
but
rating
again,
overall.
you know, he he's doing well there, but I just think that the team's coming out too fast, and I don't think they're deep enough. Um, Atlanta needs to put up a bigger fight, man. They're not. They were going to get hit up no matter what, because that defense that the Patriots are playing, I like, it's fierce. Like I mentioned before last week, it reminds me of of the of the Ravens 3 seasons ago. Like they were just hitting people, and that's what
Yeah,
you need, and
they're
it's good
pretty
for
physical.
yeah, it's good for the fan base of the Patriots, but they need to press the brakes a little bit. You know they don't know what they got yet in Derek May, and they just need to
Drake
relax.
May, Derek May.
Oh, Drake May, yeah,
You
yeah.
must be thinking about Derek Mason, former.
I'm thinking about Derek Dooley, this guy who's
Yeah,
junk for the Tennessee.
Yeah. We skipped over that Vandy game, but Texas played the way we thought they would play. I actually skipped that game, but Vanderbilt on the road, they can only play on their heads so long. They don't have the depth. But that was a good win for Texas, by the way. Even though, because Vanderbilt was pretty ranked high, I just accidentally skipped that game. Sorry. I'm going back into college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyways, all right. So now Houston and Denver, that's one. So I'm up 1 now. That was one of the ones you won.
Yeah.
Stroud got knocked out of the game. They had an
Yeah.
8-point lead and couldn't hold on to that. I'll tell you what, the teams have got to start putting safeties in the box now on 3rd and long on Bo Nix because they're underestimating this guy's speed. He's running for a lot of these first downs, and he's really catching these teams by surprise. They play tonight, by the way. I think they'll beat the Raiders, but you never know. Raiders will play those division opponents pretty strong. What's your thoughts about that game? Yeah, Denver pulled it off. I thought they got a little lucky since they knocked out Stroud in that game. But that's okay, man. You pull them out of your rear end every now and then. That was one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a high scoring game. So
No, very low score.
And I think, but this one they got to be careful because the Raiders got a defensive matchup there that's gonna look to get some sacks. They tonight's game, I feel like
they're actually leading 7-0.
Yeah, I think
But
that
like I said, they play those divisional teams pretty hard. I mean, I know Kansas City beat the crap out of them, but a lot of times they won't fall down for a division opponent.
Yeah, and then I feel like tonight's game will be probably about the same. It's not gonna be high scoring. I don't think maybe the Broncos will probably win that game 24-14.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
excuse
Well,
me.
yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry,
But
about that.
yeah, that was a good win though last week by Denver. Good win, good call on your shot. Minnesota and Detroit, and I got a clip here, man. You actually nailed the score here. I don't know if you remember actually remember this. That's what you did. Listen up.
You might see an upset here. You might see an upset.
What's the
I feel like,
score
yeah, I think it's gonna be 27-24. This is a field
Who's
goal
gonna win?
game, and I think the Vikings are gonna just sneak in and win. And this is their
You're
Super
going to
Bowl.
call for the Vikings to win.
Yeah, this is a Super Bowl, man. They gotta win a game, and you might.
Because they're Super Bowl. I think that you look at the fact that McCaffrey, there's not a lot of film on McCaffrey. And O'Connell works his quarterback magic. When he first gets a quarterback, he does this. He won with Josh Dobbs, had him 2 days, and they went on Atlanta and beat him. And Detroit, like Dan Campbell said, big favorites in that game. We were flat, and he said he holds himself responsible for that. But defense also played great for Minnesota, holding Gibbs to 65 yards, rushing there. And he still almost won, though. Detroit's pretty feisty, but they shouldn't have lost that game at home. They'll bounce back. What's your thoughts about that game? You nailed the exact score.
Yeah, I just felt that the Vikings were remember you mentioned Dr. Jekyll and Hyde that
This time, yeah.
just
Sometimes,
missed out.
yeah.
I was like
That's
that
more
was
like
more of the
Atlanta. The
Vikings.
Vikings can be that way, too.
Yeah, and I was like, they need a win. They need to get going. That the division's uber tough for them to try to climb out and get up into the playoffs. And they got a good defense sometimes, and sometimes they don't. So I felt like the Detroit Lions just came out for win, and they usually play to the opponent's game, and I felt like there was an opportunity for the Vikings to come up and do something. And I just picked it the way I felt like it was going to happen because when you're a desperate team like that, you do desperate things, and sometimes you can get a win out of that in the NFL. The Jets did it a few weeks ago. The Panthers have done it before. Like so, it's football. At the end, you got to play the game all the way out, and this is a game that the Lions totally, dropped the ball on, and good for the Vikings. They got the win, and I got a couple. This made my second game, right?
Yeah,
Those
you
2 or
picked up
3
another
games.
game on me.
Yeah, so
Yeah. So I'm only up 1 now. Indianapolis, I tell you what, man, I picked Indy, you picked Indy. Most people with common sense would have picked Indianapolis in this game with their offensive line, their defensive line, and the way Pittsburgh's run defense has been horrible. Their total defense is 30th in the league. But, man, they played like their hair was on fire. On Sunday, 6 turnovers.
6 turnovers.
In the backfield all day long. But, looking back on that box score, I had Roy, my former neighbor Roy, and his brother in, Fred, last night. And I was telling them, the Steelers were outgained in that game yards-wise. The Colts moved the ball on them. But those 6 turnovers, the defense played great. They had a big lead and almost blew up. Still won 27-20. What's your thoughts about that game? Big win by the Steelers, man. They look like the old Steelers for one day anyway.
I know. I remember a few years back, and I don't know if the stat's still correct. If you got 3 turnovers in the game, the likelihood of you winning that game is like less than 30% or something like that.
Oh, if you turned it over yourself. Yeah, it's way down there.
Right. So I can't remember exactly what that stat was, but that was like maybe in 2000, and that was maybe pre-COVID. So I don't know. I don't know what it is now, but and then Daniel Jones, like you listen, we said
Did it turn midnight for Cinderella?
Yeah,
Sunday?
We talked about it. We said, listen, just run the ball as much as you can. Don't let him try to be the hero. They forced Daniel Jones to be the hero, and they got the win. That's exactly what they did. And we sat here and said it.
Yeah.
You could screw up a free lunch, a free meal, and Daniel Jones did it.
Daniel Jones can.
Even picking the Indianapolis Colts, we said it.
And they were still in the game.
Yeah, they were in the game, but I mean,
normally if you turn it over that many times, that's usually a blowout. It's usually like 49-7,
It's just
or
the problem
something like that. 35-10.
Yeah, the Steelers don't have a problem scoring as well, so that's one of their biggest issues. So,
yeah, it was a good game by the Steelers, man. Very good game. Boy, we didn't nail this one. Kansas City, Buffalo. Buffalo played about the kind of energy that I thought they would. Ran it well. They only held Patrick Mahomes to 5 yards rushing, and he didn't throw a touchdown in that game. That being said, I'm a lot irritated, even though they played well on Sunday. As the season goes along, they're going to get injuries, and they had Ed Allen out. Aren't you a little bit agitated or not really surprised that the Bills did not try to add on during the trade deadline after Tuesday to that defense?
I keep telling you, man, stop putting your faith in the Bills, man. That's a small market team. They have small market mind, and they running on hope, man. That team is going to be a playoff team, but it ain't going to go to the Super Bowl, man. Now, how you know that you have 4 or 5 missing pieces, and you don't make any moves, like. And the thing is, it's tough to get players to go to play in Buffalo anyway, no matter how good the team looks. So that's a hard sell, man. So look,
it was a good win. Hard sell, but they caught Kansas City right. Kansas City hadn't had their bye week. Buffalo somewhat fresh off their bye week, really needing the game. They were at home. Everything was stacking in Buffalo's favor. I don't think that'll be the same case come January when they play again. It'll be the deja vu all over again. The freaking Chiefs will end up winning the playoff game and the Bills winning the regular season game.
Yeah, and then think about it. They looked like they were all over the Chiefs. They looked like Mahomes he didn't even want to throw the ball. Like, he was just like not comfortable at all. And then towards the end of the game, there's one throw away from losing it or from tying it. So crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, let's go to this week's 5 biggest games. I mean, there's a few college games out there, but LSU's already got multiple losses and fired their coach. It's not the hype of Alabama, LSU, and I think TCU and Texas Tech, not TCU, BYU and Texas Tech. Those are decent games, but I don't consider them to be, air quote, big games, marquee games. College is just okay this weekend, in case the audience was wondering about that. But I guess I'll start off here. 5 biggest games of this week, week 10. A lot of people like to watch this on the views. Baltimore at Minnesota. Minnesota came off that big game, man. We just talked about that with Detroit. Baltimore came off a big game, blew out Miami on the road. Minnesota was 8-point underdogs, by the way. Lamar Jackson as a starter, 24-3 against the NFC. I know Brian Flores will throw him some different looks and may fluster Lamar Jackson. But man, Baltimore is really healthy as they've been all year. J.J. McCarthy, he had a pretty good game last week. Now he's going against a different animal here. Although he is at home, I still like the Ravens 27-21 Baltimore. Lamar will get another win against the NFC. What you think about that game?
Yeah, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago where Baltimore will have the easier like the second easiest schedule of the NFL. They're gonna win out. I feel like this is another game they're gonna take. I think that the Vikings are probably gonna be too tired from overextending themselves to try to beat the Lions.
In that Detroit game?
Yeah, and I don't think they got enough rest and recuperation for that. So I think Baltimore's gonna come in and as long as they're physical and they start scoring, they're the Vikings will be looking at them, looking up at the scoreboard at them. So I think it's probably going to be about Lamar's back. So I'd say about 29 to I'll give it 21 points.
For
I'll say
Baltimore,
it'll be
Baltimore
an odd
wins.
score. Yeah, I think JJ McCarthy might get a safety or might do something weird. There might be a field goal block or something.
Yeah.
It might.
Then they strike midnight for him,
Yeah, they're gonna get to him. So yeah, what I say 29, 21?
Ravens. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. New England. Now they're playing Tampa. Tampa's off this bye week. It's a very light, thin spread here. This will be one of the better games of the week. This is a very good game. Very good week in the NFL. 2.5-point favorites for the Bucks here. Patriots, I mentioned earlier, coming off that 6-game winning streak. Tight game against Atlanta at home. They almost lost that game. Now, Tampa's coming off a bye. They still won't have Godwin. They still won't have Mike Evans. But they will have who else was it? I can't remember. It doesn't matter because they're going to have they won't have Bucky Irvin. That's what. But they have Rashard White. I like White at quarterback there, or running back, excuse me. And of course, you got Emeka Buka there. They still got a pretty formidable staff there. Tez Johnson or whatever his name is, the other wide receiver. I still think Baker Mayfield will probably outduel, air quote, Drake May at home. They're off the bye week. New England hadn't had the bye week, kind of like the Buffalo Kansas City situation. I like your Bucks, man. 24-21. Still be a tight game because the Pats, they don't never give up. What do you think about that game, man?
Yeah, I think the real Drake May will show up in this game. It's him being green. This game's going to be too much overwhelming for him. Tampa Bay's at home. That crowd's going to get loud. Baker's got a little bit of rest. Everybody's going to be riding high from coming off of the bye week, and I think that this is going to go 27-17. Tampa Bay will beat. I mean, that's a good home game for them too. Like it's a good game. And everybody's gonna be excited because they're going.
Oh, it'll be rocking. That place will be rocking.
Nobody wants to hear about New England, the Patriots being good again, especially in Tampa, and so this is gonna be fun.
That's a good point. 49ers, Rams. Man, Rams looked so good last week. They looked so good the week before that when they went over to Europe. And won that game coming off that bye week last week. And the 49ers, they got off a good win against your Giants, of course. But the Niners did not make a trade at that trade deadline. They still got Fred Warner out. Of course, Nick Bosa's out. And I think they got Mikael Williams. That was a defensive tackle that from Ole Miss. Michael Williams. I'm sorry. Mikael Williams is from Georgia. But their rookie guys out, too. The Rams get back at them, man. It's in San Francisco. It's a tight spread there. Rams are obviously favored. I do think Rams win 27-20. It'll be a tight game. It always is because the Rams or the 49ers always play the Rams really well. McVay versus Cal Shanahan. But I'm Rams this time 27-20. I think they get revenge on them. What do you think, man?
Yeah, this time Shanahan he's had he had his day. This team is so beat up, but they're
Yeah.
young and they're resilient and they'll put up a fight. But I'm with you, man. I think this is gonna be 24-21. I don't feel
You
like
think the Rams win?
yeah, I think the Rams is gonna win this one, man. Even though they're in San Francisco and usually the 49ers play better at home, uh listen, it could be a weather game, man. It could be sloppy and windy
Yeah.
out there. You know, it's that time of year for San Francisco, but the better team is Los Angeles, and they've been playing in different weathers. In San Francisco, they played the Giants. You know, like they're good. They feel good about themselves. Like this ain't the Rams. So, you know, they gon' they gon' I feel they're gonna struggle. But if the weather is what's supposed to be in San Francisco
It's supposed to
this
be
time of
good
year,
weather, man. I mean, I can look it up, but I don't think it's.
if the weather's bad, then San Francisco will win this game.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
Although, I don't think it weather's going to be good, but I just think that the Rams will probably get this game. I just don't
Yeah.
see how.
Yeah,
It's straight mental. If the Rams, as good as they've been playing, lose this game, as bad as, and I know that Mac Jones can play well, I don't think Purdy's going to play. And if he does, that would also probably help the Rams because he could be rusty. You know,
that's true.
only way the Rams really lose this game if they go in there and just turn the ball over.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Or
Man,
something happened. God forbid something happened to Stafford and get hurt.
Oh
Then
man,
the whole thing could be thrown off track. But
yo,
no,
Halloween
I'm
was
Rams.
last week. Halloween was last week. Why are you putting out the spookiness for the Rams?
Right. That's true, man. This is another great game, man. I think this one's on Monday night. Philadelphia, Green Bay, Packers. Listen, folks, the Packers are actually 2.5-point favorites, coming off a loss to, and they lost Tucker Kraft too, but they also got that Musgrave guy tight end against Carolina. Man, talented team, but led by a soft coach, and they're very distracted easy. Very distracted. They will come back and play well, though. They've got a few question marks on the team as a whole, but I didn't see any major players that are out for Green Bay. But you know something? Philadelphia, unlike Buffalo, they added Jalen Phillips, an edge rusher from Miami. They added Jar Alexander. That's a former Green Bay Packer who went to Baltimore. I guess he didn't work out in Baltimore. They liked the young guy better. He's coming back to Green Bay. I think off the bye week as well, this Eagle team, I think that sends a shockwave to the players. Brandon Graham coming out of retirement, also going to help out at pass rush. I think it goes from management, from ownership to management, down to the players that they really want us to win another Super Bowl. You know what? That motivates me to win this game. I like the Eagles to win on the road 27-24. This will be an airtight game. Last minute field goal by the Eagles. And this is a Monday night game. And the weather don't look bad. I think it's be a cool game. I think Saquon will have a pretty good game come Monday night.
Yeah,
what do you
man.
think about Packers and Eagles?
Yeah, I'm liking what you say there. I got them at Philadelphia winning 27-21. I got no love for Love. I don't, I'm not a big fan of LaFleur. I don't think he's edgy enough. I think he's a good coach. I think the Packers have been growing their players, they help them out and stuff, but I just don't see the development that's there, but I don't see that toughness, that grittiness that it takes to
They
get
don't
to the
have
next level.
grittiness.
And that's what you need, especially to play the Eagles, man. You got to be gritty and you got to get out there and be physical. And I don't think Green Bay has that. And their coach is not like that. The coach don't even like to take any chances. So I see this game like you, but I don't think it's a field goal, man. I think Philadelphia goes in there, gets that game 27-21.
Okay, and I do want to make a side note. The only injury for the Eagles that I would be concerned about is Cam. Is it Jenkins? I think it's Jernigan's or whatever, but he's the center, may be out, and they may have some issues there. But as far as AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Lane Johnson, all that offensive line is in good shape. So maybe they're flustered a little early in this game. Other than that, I think the Eagles play well. That defense for the Eagles is going to play pretty well. But we'll see. We'll see, man. I think Green Bay will give them a game. We're both picking Eagles. That's interesting. This game kept me nervous this game has bothered me all week, man. Because this game I'm about to talk about can go both ways. The LA Chargers and the Pittsburgh Steelers here. The Chargers come across the country and play well against Tennessee, but they lost Joe Alt for the season in that game against the Titans, man.
Right.
Titans got 6 sacks on Justin Herbert, throwing a couple of interceptions there. They really got on Herbert, man. And I know that they signed Trevor Penning, but he's a guard. They got him in the trade from the New Orleans Saints. He's going to be moved over to left tackle. And I also noted that their right tackle, this Bobby Hart guy, he's their backup right tackle. Remember the other right tackle? He's been out since training camp, Rashawn Slater. Pittsburgh played pretty motivated football on Sunday. And I don't like to take Pittsburgh a lot, but man, I just got to call it like I see it, man. There's too many injuries with this Charger team on that line, and we saw the 6 turnovers caused there, and I just get a feeling here that the Steelers are going to go across the country, man, and pull this upset off 20-17. Justin Herbert has a long night Sunday night. Steelers get the win. If there was just a little bit more health on their line, I'd probably go the other way because I know Steelers still give up big plays on their defense. What's your thoughts about Steelers and Chargers, man?
Listen, you got Mr. Captain Terrific and Mr. Aaron Rodgers going back home.
AR, yeah, I think he played out in LA. He's from LA area.
He's from LA. He's gonna be inside, like where they playing that arena now. So
he plays well in SoFi.
Yeah, that arena is not. It's fun to play in for some of these guys. The new arena, Pittsburgh is doing a lot better than LA right now. They're on a high. This defense is gonna go and try to get Herbert. They got his target. I don't think they'll get 6 turnovers. They might get 3, but like we mentioned before, even if you get 3 turnovers, you're less likely to win this game. And I think that this is going to be a close game. This is going to be the game of the week. It's a good thing that it's on the Sunday night. I think the Steelers going to win this one 27-24.
So you picked Steelers too. I thought you was going to go the other way with that. So we're dead even on everything this week. I guess I'll still have a 1-game lead. Yeah. Anything else you need to add? We got about a minute.
No, I mean, I got to wrap. This whole week has been wrapped up. The Dodgers winning. Congratulations to them.
7-gamer.
The Mets has just made
Yeah.
The Mets just made a move and signing their closer and Diaz. So I got to get some stuff together about the winter meetings coming up and things like that. And it's been really busy here. I'm just trying to wrap up this whole high school thing for my son. Congrats to him and working and trying to get all that stuff done. Big props to my son. I give him props because it's.
What kind of props was he doing?
Well, I was just him getting through this whole selection of picking the school and stuff. It's not like
nice.
It used to.
All right, props to the
It's not like us. We just went to the school in the neighborhood. So
we went to that's pretty cool. Making it like college, ain't they?
Yeah, he's getting to choose where he wants to go. So hopefully, he's out there doing his thing, and it's just been busy, man. And I appreciate you having me on.
Good show tonight.
Once again, everybody, if you know somebody, or you haven't heard from somebody, or just if you need somebody, just reach out. dial 988, like Robert said.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And you know, we
Crisis hotline.
yeah, we need more. We need more love in this world than hate. And everybody has problems. Everybody problems. We can't stand up here all
Everybody
day.
hurts sometimes.
Everybody hurts. Yeah, and so we need
REM
to
song. I love that song.
yeah, we need to just be mindful and kind, and you know, like we're just like, you know, it's a tough thing to do because you know things come up in this world, but you know, like hey, I wish everybody a good weekend, and we'll see you guys next Friday. And Robert, thank you for having me on the show, man.
Yeah. Hey, let's have a round of applause. Love. Appreciate you, Carlos. All right, folks, enjoy the games. And if you like the show, share the show. I'll be back next week live here on the Real Sports Scope. Have a good night, everybody.